Hi guys, welcome to my first episode of Wrd.Prspctv on I've Got Notes. Welcome to Wrd.Prspctv, where I get your perspective on my word of the week. I'm your host, Miss YaYa. Hi guys, hi, welcome. Now, as a singer-songwriter, I've been obsessed with words since the day I was born. So lyrics in a song, words in a poem or a book, words that were said to me growing up, the words I have in a loop in my head from day to day. Words are important. You guys, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, if you're tuned in, type in words into the comments so that I know that I got you guys' attention. Words. I love your hearts, Rachel. I love your hearts. Sending you hearts right back. So I talk a lot. I have friends that call me YaRadia or YaRadio because I am like an FM radio station all day. Palabras, yes, Rachel, palabras, word. I'm like a FM radio station all day, talking, expressing myself. And so my friends call me YaRadio. But why did I start Wrd.Prspctv? I'm currently on the 40 millionth chapter of my life. And what I mean is, you know, when something happens and you might want to reevaluate your life, reevaluate your habits, your relationships, words, Soraya, words, reevaluate your relationships, reevaluate everything just to see like, okay, this didn't work out. I need to make some changes. And normally that happens when we go through losing a job that we really enjoyed, or going through a breakup. In my case, it's the latter. So I am diving into words. I'm diving into words, and I realize that I'm in a transition. I've noticed I keep having the same conversation with a lot of my other friends that are in transitions in their lives, and whether it's, again, a breakup, or they're not getting the jobs they want, or they're trying to figure out what their next career move is. So a lot of us are in transition, and a lot of us are talking about the same topics and using the same words. And today's word is checklist. Now, for those of you who are signed on, who are happily married or in a relationship and working on it, maybe you had a checklist to find your person. Maybe you developed your checklist after getting to know your person. And for us who are still single and trying to figure out what the hell are we doing with this whole dating thing, checklists are important. I think checklists are important. I didn't start writing checklists until about maybe 4 years ago. And before that, I was a serial monogamist since the age of 14. So being in a relationship since I was 14, because, you know, we would say things like, oh, he's cute, he's nice, he makes me laugh, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's not enough. I wasn't taught to look for specific things in a potential partner. A lot of us weren't. And if you grew up in a Latino household as a girl, Rachel, Soraya, help me out here, the thing you freaking listened to, the thing you heard, thank you for joining the chat. In the building, thank you for joining us. So because I was a serial monogamist, I, before that, was taught, Latinas, help me out here, tú no vas a tener novio. No, tú no vas a tener novio. Ni lo piensa. Don't even think about having a boyfriend since you were a kid. Little boys, if they are seen talking to a little girl, they're like, oh, that's your girlfriend? But that same little girl in her household was hearing, tú no vas a tener novio. You're not going to have a boyfriend. Yo, come on, Rachel, you got this. You got to preach. Francis, you understand how it is. Little girls couldn't have boyfriends, but little boys could have girlfriends. So it's like, who are you matching these kids up with as kids? Anyway, the point is, we didn't talk about checklists or what qualities would be good to find in a partner. I didn't see good examples of that growing up. So here I am, 4 years later, writing a checklist, like seriously writing down like, okay, what is it that I want in a guy? or in a partner, because him being cute and having nice arms is not enough. So with that being said, how's a kid supposed to learn what the right thing to do is if society only focuses on what not to do? Tú no puedes tener novio. No, demasiado joven. Tú no vas a tener novio hasta que tenga 40 años. You're not going to have a boyfriend until you're 40. Well, here I am, folks. I'm serial monogamous since I was 14. So, everybody's checklist can be fueled by different things. According to lovepanky.com, lovepanky, clever, a dating checklist can consist of qualities your partner brings out of you. So, for example, if you like being outdoors and you're an outdoorsy person, you're going to want to find somebody who loves being outdoors and loves adventures, or someone who is into a healthy lifestyle. If you see not cute enough, all right, Soraya, I see you. If you know that you want kids and marriage in the future, you're going to want to make sure that that's on your checklist with who you're dating. I put up a meme from the movie Puerto Ricans in Paris, and the scene that I put up was Rosario Dawson talking to the guy that she's dating, finding out 8 months later that he didn't want to get married or have kids. That's, if you're casually dating, you're not going to care about that because you're like, I don't see a future with this guy anyway. But if you see marriage and kids in your future, you're not going to keep wasting your time with someone who doesn't want marriage or kids in their future. Also, a mistake that some of us have made in the past, I ain't gonna say no names. Another mistake some of us can make is that, okay, you don't want kids and marriage? Okay, I'm gonna convince you. I'm going to change your mind. I know a chick who got married to a guy and she knew her whole life she didn't want marriage or kids. That's right, Tinker. Nope, they have to go. But you have to know that you want that. That means you have to write it on your checklist. My whole life was just saying, yeah, I want this in a person, this in a person. But until you write it down and see, because sometimes things on our checklist are a little ridiculous. Like, gotta be over 6 feet, can't have messed up teeth. Teeth can be fixed. And, somebody that's not 6 feet could still rock your world. So things like that on a checklist, not so much. But back to what fuels people's checklist, on the other spectrum of it, a chapeadora, yes, I'm gonna talk about chappies right now. A chapeadora her checklist would consist of things she wants to get out of the guy, right? So money for rent, trips to Dubai for her and her friends, stuff like that. Hey, hay que tener cuarto to fix the teeth, just saying. That's true, Rachel La Loca, she's right. But you can get cuarto to fix your teeth. Invisalign is very inexpensive these days, so I've heard. I'm not judging chapeadoras at all, okay? But, a checklist is a checklist. And you see how successful chappies are. They get what's on their checklist. A man with money, a man with this, a man with that. And you see them traveling the world. Come on, you guys have at least one choppy friend. So checklists are very important. Chappies are successful because they are organized. They have a vision. They have a checklist. So let me know in the comments, what are some things you guys have in the checklist? I'm gonna have Glory sign on because I want to hear what Glory has to say about checklists. Tinker, she says, I am so over those days. I want someone to settle down with, a best friend for life. See, that's something good to put on your checklist. I'm becoming team choppy this year. Both sides, even guys can be chapeadoras. That's true. I've been choppied. With the little coins I have, I've been choppied. Wait, I'm screaming. Who's this? Glory says, I'm screaming at organized. Listen, choppies are organized, okay? All right, so Toti, Son Locos is in the building. Glory, I moved on from finding love. No, Glory, call me right now so you could join, because I need you in my life. Checklist, talk to me, communication. That is a very important thing to put on a checklist. Communication is key. That is actually one of my checklist must-haves. Impeccable communicator. I just, for the first time, listen through the whole audiobook of the 4 laws of the 4 agreements. Let me go get it. Nope, that's not it. The 4 law of agreements. And the first one is be impeccable with your word, which means be a good communicator. Marimi, I'm so tired of dating. I'm okay being single. Girl, I hear that. I so hear that. The 4 agreements. Thank you, Glory. The 4 agreements. Glory, can you go? Can you sign on? More the comunicación it has to be trust and respect on both sides. Absolutely. So I dated a guy who in the very beginning of us dating, he made it very clear that he was not over his ex that cheated on him. The ex cheated on him 4, 5, 6 years ago before I even came into the picture. And he was still hung up on the fact that his ex cheated on him with her ex, that he kept putting that on me. He kept putting that on me. So that makes you feel like, okay, me, the crazy one, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna prove to you that you can trust me. I'm gonna be better than your ex. And then what? Drove myself crazy trying to prove my worth. No, we ain't doing that no more. Glory, where you at? I got you. Except Glorelys is signing on. Men are so annoying. Yeah.
I'm screaming. First of all, I didn't put makeup on.
It's okay. I love your lighting.
I know that's why you need good lighting. I tell people every time you're not ugly, you just have bad lighting.
That's, I learned that from Mariah Carey. And remember back in the day, MTV used to do the
MTV Cribs.
MTV Cribs, the Diary of. That's when everything was good.
We need that content back.
We do.
But I like what you were saying, that you were trying to prove yourself to this guy. Like, even though after he showed you red flags, you were like, you know what? Fuck the red flags. I'm going anyways.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Ask me how that went.
How did that go?
Horribly horrible. It was disgusting. You lose yourself.
Right. I literally, right before I got on the phone with you, I was in therapy. I have BetterHelp, so I'm like always like texting my therapist. And I was telling her, I knew I saw the red flags, but I was like, do I see them?
Are they really red flags?
It could be orange. I be blind. All my bad, they're all bad relationships, right? None of them worked out, but they've all been a lot of bad red flags.
But here's the thing that I'm trying to, I don't know if it's me half lying to myself or the other half growth. I'm not sure, but there's no such thing as a bad relationship. It hurts me to say that because
I knew you were gonna say that.
It hurts me to say it because I've been through some bad shit. But they taught us something. Do you feel like you at least learned something about yourself?
So this is literally what I had the conversation with my therapist. Like, the first terrible relationships in my 20s, they made sense because they really all of those bad situations. I don't think it would have been a stand-up comic if I didn't go through that shit. Like, when I tell you I went through abuse, everything, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put that in my art. I'm gonna heal. I forgive everybody. I moved on. But then when you get older, you think that you're growing up or more mature. You find yourself in the same situation. You're like, okay, this is getting out of pocket, God. I don't need no more character development. Or do I? Like, how much growth can a bitch do? I'm tired.
That's the thing. Just when I thought that I was good, like my growth was good, and then I dated someone and I'm like, no, why are all these things triggering me? Why are all these things that I thought I was over triggering me? Why? But we digress. Those are a whole bunch of other episodes. Red flags, boundaries, triggers. I got it all here. Back to checklist.
Right. I'm working.
Checklist, Glory.
So this, now that I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to get back out there and start dating. I hate it, whatever. But I'm like, I should go there, like you said, like a fucking chapeadora. Not just about taking money, but that organization is key. Like, I wish I had the brain, like me and my best friend, Sasha, I know her. I talk all the time with her, like, I wish I had my business brain in love. Because I would be a fucking savage. Like,
it.
Anytime if I ever hit somebody up, I'm like, hey, I want to collab, and they're a little hesitant, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do it. Only because I want people that are really, like, they're ready to go. And they want to go, like, it's just, you notice whenever you end up collabing with people that are kind of hesitant, it never goes well. You're like, you know what? I knew in the beginning, it just wasn't the right time. And sometimes relationships are like that, but my brain, my Pisces brain, does not understand that. Right now, she's like, if you decided you don't want to be with me today, you will never have another opportunity. Fuck
Ever.
you.
Ever. That's it. No, never. But
Right.
love, we're like, okay, it's a light orange flag.
No, I'm such a fucking, I'm not, I want to say bitter bitch, but I'm such a like, not like, in business, I'm very cutthroat. Like, again, if you give me the wrong answer, I'm like, not the wrong, but like a very like hesitant answer. I'm like, you know what? You don't really want to do this. I'll move on to somebody else.
Wait. Do you see what Rachel's writing here?
What did she say? Take a business
fuck TLC. Take a business approach to love.
Yo,
yes.
We making the t-shirts.
Fuck TLC. It's an LLC.
Right. It's fucking love business. Everything's a meeting. What are you working on? You know. What else is one of my business rules? I have like a list in my brain of like just energy. Like if I feel like you complain a lot, I can't date you because you're bringing.
What are your top three? What are your top three deal breaker? Can't fuck around.
For business or for love?
For love. We only talk about love.
Oh, love? No, because bitch. Okay, so now my new list is I need someone that is decisive. Like you have to know how to make decisions, and that I guess it's the same thing as business. Like you need to know what is a good risk, what is the right choice, all that shit. I need you to be able to make a choice and see it through, and be like, you know what? Regardless of what happens, we're in this together. I cannot do it. I'm indecisive. I cannot do another indecisive person. I don't want to do that. It's so funny. TikTok is changing my life, but she was saying on TikTok that after you date someone, men, I mean, I don't know, everybody's non-binary now, but just by the regular cisgenders, men usually go looking for the same trait that they left. So let's say that person, that guy, is gonna always go trying to find a version of YaYa. But women,
they could try.
Right, good luck. But for us, whenever we're done with somebody, we want the complete opposite. Like I want the complete opposite of whatever I just experienced. Obviously, like I always say that people are still good people. Like I don't have any like enemy exes. Like I know one that might try to extort me when I'm rich and famous, but I'll have my lawyers done. He's a Scorpio, can't trust him.
Oh, of course,
right?
Scorpio man.
But overall, like I'm still harboring over this fucking shit. But I need someone that's decisive. I need someone that values time. I didn't realize how much time was important to me until I got older. Like for me, I'm always thinking like people are passing away all the time. I'm always having an existential crisis. I think that being somebody that values time is so important because then you're gonna know like, oh, this isn't working out. Let's end this a week in. Or versus like, if I'm gonna spend my time with you, I want to go all the way. And it's like, I need someone decisive, appreciates time. And the other thing is that I guess my list is growing, but I want someone that like understands relationships, not just the one that we have, but like the importance of everyone in your life affects everything you do. Mm-hmm. And I want somebody that has good people around them.
I have that on my checklist, boo. Has a good support system, family and friends.
Right. I want all of that. I want someone that is a family person. I'm not really into the clubbing scene. Like I'm really into my comedy career as you do comedy and singing. Like I really want someone that appreciates like the arts and like the respect that it takes to be a creative person. Like doing this shit is not easy. You know, I build everything from the ground up by myself, as did you. What else on my checklist?
Wait, hold up. Really important for us. And Francis just said, I want you to see me. It's true. It like to be seen and heard is very important. If you're with somebody that can't hold space for you, especially if you're holding space for them and all their drama and everything they're going through, and if they can't hold space for you, it's like, then, you know, like, what the fuck are we doing here? But for you and I, it's very important, very, very important, because I've had to learn this. A dude has to be okay with what we do as 100%. Entertainers, as being in male-dominated industries. Mm-hmm. They have to be comfortable and secure with that and supportive of that. If I went on a first date with a guy years ago, and he was a bus driver, which is totally fine. Nice guy. I don't care what job you have as long as you got a job. But right. We were on a date and he goes, I want to get so I know you go by Miss YaYa, but what's your birth name? And I go, YaYa. And he goes, I want to know YaYa. And I'm like, but to know YaYa, you gotta know Miss YaYa too. And YaYa, who's Miss YaYa, sings and acts and does this and is here and is there. And if you're not down with that, I didn't tell him this on the date. I had already made up my mind. I was like, yeah, this is first and last.
That it's that first like weird feeling of like this isn't gonna work out, and it's also like whatchamacallit.
And he smoked cigarettes, so then that was really a deal breaker.
So you already knew. You already knew that you had all the deal breakers.
Yeah.
You know?
No. So, but then in other times, like in a recent relationship, I saw the red flag of him not supporting me acting because he was afraid of like the sex scenes, and I'm like, dude, you do know there's 50 million other kinds of scenes you could do that doesn't involve a penis and a vagina.
Right.
But he couldn't see past that. But yeah, no, instead of walking away like I did before, I was like, I'm gonna change his mind. And
a
stupid decision. It was
a
stupid
decision. What you
decision.
did there, I would say it wasn't stupid. It was, you did the best that you could at that moment. You followed your heart.
Thank you.
I don't know about this following your heart shit no more. It's really not working out for me. Like, I'm just, like you said, like you were going to a chapeadora list first, and people always like downplay the woman that has like these like extreme standards and wants all these things, but
they get them.
I know people that they have like multiple boyfriends, and they're like, I mean, I'm getting my bags. And I'm starting to feel like, because YaYa, I just came out of a situation. Like, it's no shade. I will never downplay anyone or ever be like, oh, you're a bad person. That's not the case. The case is that I went in there with like, I had already made up my mind about people, right? Like I said, we work in entertainment, so a lot of the time, a lot of people are opportunists. A lot of people don't have your best interest in mind, and I'm sure that where your comedy and art comes from, you must have suffered some kind of deep pain that you were able to transform over the years, right? So I'm already coming in, like after the pandemic and after I went through some shit, I was like, you know what? I can't trust anybody. I don't want to meet any new friends. If you're not in my life, I don't need any new friends. And he was a big advocate about, no, you should have an open mind. And I'm like, people are gonna fuck you over all the time. So I went in there with my innocent Pisces moon, like, you know what? I can show my true self. And I did, and it was a safe space. But I guess you can't expect things to end things the way you want. But it was like, what was the point of you getting me to open up and be so vulnerable if you didn't have plans for us? Like, you just wanted, what the fuck? You just wanted a fucking therapist?
But that's the thing. That's the initial conversation that needs to be had in the very beginning. But then it's tricky. It's like, yeah, you want to do things casually, but then one of you starts catching feelings, and it's like, do we have the conversation of like, where is this going? And then if a person gets scared off from that conversation, you know, like, then that's not the person. That's the thing. It's like, when we see the signs that the person is not our person, that's when we need to either have a conversation and bolt, or if they're difficult to have that conversation with, bolt.
So let me ask you this, YaYa. What if a person tells you they're not ready for a relationship? Is it the same thing?
I think it's the same thing, because it's if they tell you they're not ready, see, this is why and I'm guilty of this, that when I get in a relationship, I forget everybody. I forget myself, and that's horrible. And it helps that if you're dating someone and you do have your support system. And wait, Frank says, y'all want what I can't
I was
have.
like, what the fuck does that mean?
Excuse me, Frank. Frank knows what y'all want. And earlier he put no choppies, and I'm, you know, I'll have Frank talk about his choppy situations in the comments.
No, I'm gonna be a choppy.
You gotta respect the organization of a choppy, man. They're like, they know what they want and they get it.
Right. And they're fine. Like, I just think maybe we can't have it all. Like, maybe we can't. Like, I'm starting to really feel that way. And I'm by no means trying to be like this bitter bitch, but like, I have a great career. I'm at the beginning of my comedy career, and I made all of this happen, you know, by myself. And like, I have so many great opportunities, but it's like, I can never seem to balance like having that great stuff happening and then a relation. Like, it just doesn't work. I'm not one of those people. I'm not Michelle Obama. I just can't have both of them.
So Jeremy, wait, you're Michelle Obama what?
No, I said I can't. I'm not a Michelle Obama. Like, she has the whole package.
CB, hold on. See, this is where we mess up. We get with somebody who like messes up our whole ideas about love and relationships, and then we want to just internalize that and be like, it's not for me. I am making a conscious effort to not be that bitch because I've been that bitch before and I don't want to be that bitch.
But did you have fun when you were that bitch? Did you have fun?
But you can still have fun, live your life, and still. I mean, I see other people do it. I'm trying to learn how to live my life, enjoy myself, be secure with everything I got going, my friends, my careers, and everything. Like you right now, you are on fire, Glory. You are doing shows left and right, at the stand, para aquí, por allá. Like you were killing it. You were killing it. And the dude that you end up with needs to match that energy, or he can kick rocks. So Jeremy Beck said, when people say they aren't ready to be in a relationship, it's bullshit. Life is relationships, and that's true.
Okay, so, Steve Harvey. That's not something Steve Harvey would say.
Yeah, life is relationships. So now the thing is, and I'm Cancer, but I feel like you have
I'm
Cancer
a
qualities.
And I have a Pisces moon and a Pisces rising, so I'm very emotional. Like a lot of people, like when they see, obviously, like I have a persona, whatever. I'm fun. I'm working hard, but when I tell you, bitch, I be crying all the time. Like Sasha has like a slideshow of me just crying. Like I just cry.
What, you send Sasha pictures of you crying?
I do sometimes. It's just funny, like because then like after you get over it, you're like, yo, I was bugging that day. And it's just so fucking funny.
Shout out to Sasha Mercy being part of your support system.
I love that. Yo, I love that girl so much. I'm like really into water sign friendships. My sister's a water sign. She's a Cancer. She's one of the most like understanding people on this planet. So, but whatever. I'm making a new checklist, YaYa. So fuck all that shit. I'm going to.
Okay.
I want someone that's decisive. Somebody that has a really good planner. Like
now, are these things that you have within yourself, or that you would want your partner to have, but also bring out of you? Because that's one of the fuels.
Bringing out of me. Oh my, I didn't think about that. I want that person to have it. I'm not the most decisive, but I do know how that. I knew that I can't stay in paralysis forever, right? Like I'm aware of that. So like I go back and forth on a decision, and then when I make that decision, it is final. It is a contract. I will never go back, unless I don't know. Like whatever, but I do feel like I bring these things to the table. Like I love planning. I'm a very organized person. I value my time. Washington Heights, absolutely not. I'm thinking about going to the White Side.
Wait, where did you see Washington Heights?
Frank,
wait, Glory, get you in Washington Heights. Frank, coño, tenía que ser Frank.
No, I'm about to start checking out the Pete Davidsons of the world.
Oh my God, no. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say no. There's one quality that I'm pretty sure he has that I'm not gonna mention.
I've heard, and at first I was like, that can't be true, but it's been confirmed by like so many people. I guess he's laying down the pipe.
This is something someone could put on their checklist as well.
You know what, I actually was thinking about that because, you know, now that I'm like reflecting, the reason why it's important for me to reflect on relationships is because, you know, you grow from them and you decide like who you become after. But one of the things that I always find it interesting when people be like, oh, that sex isn't a priority in their relationship. I think that's a lie. What's the point of being with someone if you don't enjoy the sex? And let me layer it on top of that. It took me a long time.
Wait, you're muted.
No, my phone went on low. I froze. Sorry, my phone went on low power.
Oh, I thought that was Instagram.
Can you hear me?
I thought that was Instagram hating on you talking about sex being important.
Oh, about Pete Davidson. They was like, I'm so sorry. Somebody, Mama Juana's again. Oh my God.
It's on. Rachel with the puns.
Yo.
Rachel wrote, Pete, Dave, it's on. I
would never.
Shout out to Rachel for being my support system. She's part of my support system. She's part of both our support systems. We all are part.
No, Rachel launched my career. She doesn't even. I'm part of the documentary. Rachel La Loca. She don't go down as a woman that launched Glorelys' career. You know,
she has that magic. She does that with a lot of the circle.
She put me on that stage one time, and I never got off. But I think that people that say that sex isn't the most important thing in a relationship, I think they're lying. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I think that you cannot. What's the point of being in a relationship if you're not enjoying intimacy with your body, with your mind, with your soul? Like that, you're supposed to be with someone that's your best friend. But then like society gets in the way, and you're just like, okay, I am a good person. I'm showing up as a good person, but it's just not rewarding me. So I'm just gonna be a fucking bitch.
You know that book, Why Men Hate Bitches? Wait,
why they love bitches? I'm like,
why they? Oh, that. Coño, I have all my book titles.
You're mixing them, but they're coming together. They're coming together.
Yeah, they're coming together. And then I'm getting distracted by the comments. John Carl says, "Anyone hook up under a heated blanket?"
That sounds like a lot of sweat.
A lot of sweat. That sounds like a sauna. I might as well have sex in a sauna.
Right. But the thing about like good sex is that it took me a long time to learn what that was. So that I was having sex, I'm like, I'm not enjoying it. So like maybe this is it. And I think a lot of women, we get into these relationships and we don't really love ourselves. And then we just settle, but we don't know we're settling. So when people are like, oh, the sex isn't that great, but I love his personality. No, bitch. That's not your man. That's not your soulmate.
And that is why checklists are important.
Right.
Because if you have it written down, and I'm speaking from experience, I'm not saying this is law. I've been doing a lot of research on it, and it's a normal thing that's been talked about. And in a little while, before we wrap up, I'm gonna share some checklist best practices that I found online. But it's important so that we see it, so that like when something is out of alignment with what we want out of our partner, we don't sit there and be like, well, the D is good. No,
right.
that's not enough. Because the D, you know, at some point when we're 80, 90 years old, the D might not be working unless, you're some Dominican grandfather that's still having babies at 80, you know.
But like I was saying, intimacy, I think people think intimacy is just sex, but it's also your mind. Like, does that person really know the way you think? Can you have an honest conversation with them? Can they be your soundboard, your soul? Like, are you guys, now you don't have to be interested in the same thing, but are you walking the same life path on this planet? Like, or are you guys just on different lifestyles and body? Like, again, people stigmatize sex so bad, and you don't have to be out here doing porn flip shifts and shit. Like, it's about, do you have a connection with this person to actually be free to explore things you like? Like, I never had that opportunity until I met my last person, because I was like, yo, I'm just having bad sex. Maybe I'm supposed to be a lesbian, which, can still be the case. But when I started having sex with him, I'm like, no shade, like I was orgasming like crazy. I'm like, I've only had one orgasm in my 20s with this person. I'm just saying, like, so maybe that's why you couldn't walk. Yeah, I was having bad sex.
That's a whole nother episode,
right? You guys bring me back for the reboot. But all I'm saying is that you need to be with someone that really understands or wants to understand the different parts of you, not just one part of you. And then we settle in this different areas. But I think it should be, I mean, I'm gonna settle because I decided to be a bitter bitch. But if I had an ideal,
don't settle, Glory.
I'm done, YaYa.
Too much magic. You're mad. We possess too much magic to just settle on. And then that's the thing. If you think you're gonna settle, what are you settling on?
Well,
what do you think you can settle?
This is what I'm telling you. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna blow up, and Drake is gonna hit me up in a DM, and I'm gonna have to settle for Drake, which isn't the worst thing. I don't like him.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst, but I already know he has fuckboy tendencies. I'm like, you know what? If I was going to date anybody, and then he needs a Rihanna doppelganger, hello.
Why? So, wait. Side note, why does everybody think Drake is devastated that Rihanna is pregnant?
He loves that girl.
But I always saw them as like BFFs, like Rachel and Frank, like Mark Rain and Black Rose.
No,
like,
that's not the way Drake
and Tommy. Like, I see them as friends.
Nah, Drake was trying to be more than friends. He was trying to be the baby daddy. But you're over here doing stupid shit. So did you really? So the point is that I'm gonna have to settle for Drake, and I'm a little devastated by that. I know most women be like, oh, Drake. I'm like, I don't want to date Drake, but I just feel like I was cursed when I became prom queen. I was just telling my friends this, and I just can't find, I can't find someone I'm compatible with and want to be with.
See, here's the thing. I'm no expert, but from what I have heard, the times I have heard it, is, wow, Terrell's top 5 said, don't settle for light skin. Wow.
I mean, I'm open to all of them. I was also looking at Woody McClain from Power. I'm like, I could date him. But you also have men in different places. Like, I have a 3-tier chart. It's like, 1 is like potential husband. 2 is like, you're in the middle. Like, you could, if you say the right things, you're on probation. But if you say the right things, you could be a potential husband. And then I just have straight, like, you're just gonna be dick. And that's all I want. And then I have like friends, But I haven't.
that's the thing. Guys do that to us too. So a guy who says, I'm not ready for a relationship, but still wants to just have sex, is telling you,
but
I'm not ready for a relationship, but I still just want the sex.
No. We weren't having sex after we had that conversation that he wasn't ready. We weren't having sex. It was just like we decided.
That's right. You take that sex away. You take that pussy away.
Probation. No, the pussy power. No, but
pussy power. You take it away.
Yeah. So I have to go into this dating game when I go back in. Right. I'm giving myself like 3 months to like heal and like at least be ready. I need to go back with that chappy strategy. I have to have that checklist. And I need to make sure I have the tiers. And the moment I know what tier that man falls in, is no moving him out the tier. If he is just dick, that's fine. If he's just a mind intimacy, that's fine. But if he's mind, body, soul, I'll keep you updated. But good.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm starting to ask like God, like, who do you want me to end up with? Because I've had some good matches. I just don't know who you want at this point. The suspense.
Jeremy says, and Jeremy, I know Jeremy, he is a talented musician, and we've been touring for the past 3 or 4 years with Neil Berg's rock band. Him and his wife, Rebecca, beautiful couple. They're both musicians. I like to take advice from people that are in happy relationships, or at least in functional relationships. So Jeremy says, stop looking, they will show up. And I've tried that approach too.
Same. I would say, look, I've had every quote. When you know, everything happens for a reason. When you stop looking, at this point, I just am going to be a bitch. This is exactly what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna end up with a nice man that's gonna come to my comedy shows, and we're not gonna have a real. I'm okay with that. I've already settled in my life, and that's okay. I have a beautiful career. I have so many friends. I can just have a man with dick that I really like, and hopefully comes with a beard.
A beard?
Yeah, a beard. Yeah.
Is that on the checklist?
That's on the optional, but important. Like, you know, like when jobs are looking, they're like, oh, if you have an MBA, like it's not required, but it definitely will put you at the top.
It'll put you at the top of the list. This I Am Superwoman says, that dating seems complicated. Let me stay with my husband of 23 years. Listen, congratulations to you.
Right.
If you could help us figure out. Oh, actually, you know what? I Am Superwoman. Did you have a checklist before you found your husband? We'll wait for the answers while we continue. Did she have a checklist? I'd like to know, did she have a checklist, and did it like help her find her husband? She also said earlier that we have to work on ourselves before we find the right person.
I hear that, but I also like don't like this narrative that like women in relationships know it all, right? Like, because I always go to my friends in relationships like, well, you got a fucking boyfriend. What's happening? What's working for you? But they just got no shade. I'm working on this new set too. Like, they just got lucky. Like, there's no magic to it. Like, they just got lucky. And that's why I'm like, when I think about my career, there's a lot of people like, how is she doing it? Part of it is like, yes, the talent, whatever, but it's like, it's just divine timing. Like, this is exactly what God wanted me to do. And I have no control over that. And so I just feel like some people in relationships, like, we are looking for the answers, but they just got lucky. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, it's not.
Glory, do you believe in magic?
Not anymore, bitch. I'm bitter.
But do you believe in law of attraction? Because I feel like with your career, you've been attracting what you want. So that's why it's coming to you. And to talk about what we said earlier, the approaching dating like a business, that's again along the lines of checklists, visualizing, envisioning the not perfect, but someone that's as close to our ideal partner.
I'm going to say something, and it might contradict everything I just said, but I do believe in the law of attraction, and I've never really taken the time to put a man on my vision board or anything. Like, it's always been career oriented. And maybe part of me is like afraid to put it on the vision board, but I've actually never put that on the vision board, and maybe that's why I've never had a successful relationship that I consider successful. I'm like, I never put it on it because I'm like, that's not like, okay, let me just reiterate. That's not what I want right now, but in the future, I would like that because I know that I'm gonna get distracted. And I remember going into this last relationship saying, I don't want a boyfriend. Like, I'm letting you know today that if you want something serious, please don't. I don't want that. And then what happens? He starts inviting me to like random shit. I'm like, okay, well, you want.
He starts doing shit to make you like him more and more, and then you start envisioning like, oh, I can see myself with this fool. And he takes you to go house hunting, you know.
Oh,
and then you
man,
think
are we dating the same person? No kidding. And then after you're like, you know what? I can consider it. Oh, you know what? I actually don't want this anymore. Like they just take the they pull the rug under. I'm like, I told you I didn't want this. I was perfectly fine just having like a consistent fuck buddy. Like, and I'm gonna be honest about that. I just want someone that I can trust, I can go to dinner with, and I can do my career in peace.
And guys, that's okay for women to want that because guys want it all the time.
Right.
So it's okay if we do it. Listen, it's 2022. A lot of shit. This is also another reason why I started this show, Word Perspective, because a lot of stuff that we've been holding on to is generational. Doesn't even apply to our generation in terms of career, in terms of being a woman, in terms of finding a relationship. So making that clear right now, it's okay for women who are comfortable with having just, you know, a casual friend to have a casual friend.
A CF, a fucking CF. I was looking for a CF. I was looking for a casual friend.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
No
I
shame
never really put it on my vision board. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe I should start there. But I'm going on a 2-year bitter tour. So
a 2-year bitter tour. Listen, this is making for great comedy. This is making for great sets. This is making for great growth, and also I'm thinking that it's also helping you reevaluate what it is that you want, because what we wanted last week may not necessarily be what we want next week or the week after. Like our lists are constantly evolving. So going back to I Am Superwoman, she answered our question.
Wait, what did she say?
She said that they started when they were young. Hold on, I saw it earlier. She said I didn't have a checklist. She was too young. She was 18 years old. However, she set standards as she matured, and it was a work in progress. So if you could find somebody that you could grow with, I mean, they were growing since she was 18, but even so, if like, I'm 40 now. So if I find somebody and you don't stop growing. So finding somebody that you can grow with and that's okay and open to your growth and that you support their growth, I think that's very important on a checklist. But that's like number 9 or number 10.
No, at this point, YaYa, if you're coming as a workbook or whatever the fuck, if you don't know what you want in life, I cannot date. I just can't. Like, I need someone that at least knows what their purpose is on this planet. Is that fucked up? What?
No, I'm sorry. I really should turn off comments because I just be reacting real quick.
Oh.
Rachel said, because you were talking about a man on your vision board. She put, a man on a vision board, is Webble size on a vision board acceptable?
Absolutely. Look, if I'm going to have a CF, I want the best of the best all the time.
Why not? We deserve the best of the best.
Right.
You know? So I'm re-evaluating my checklist. I'm moving things around. So I went online to figure out what's the best way to come up with a new checklist. Because the last 2 checklists I wrote, okay.
No, so, I'm listening. I'm open.
Yeah, no. This is gonna help both of us. Okay, so Bustle.com says that these are the 5 best practices for writing your checklist, your dating checklist. So number 1, think about your core values, your own core values, which is, what are values to people?
Like the shit that is non-negotiable. Like if you believe in God, or like, you know, stealing is wrong.
Mm-hmm. How you would raise your kids if you want kids, if you want marriage,
if you want to beat them or not.
That is true.
No, that's a conversation.
Do you want to beat your kids? I mean, I used
to.
No. I'm asking.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was at a comedy show and somebody's like, "Wait, do you want to ever hit your kids?" I'm like, I have a feeling my kids, they're gonna be real well behaved. Like I feel like I'm gonna be that mom that gives like that one look, boom.
Yeah.
Like I don't really feel like I'm gonna get. if God punishes me with bad kids, I'm gonna be fed the fuck up because I already did too much. Oh my God, that's the last thing
I'm gonna be fed the fuck up.
I'm gonna be fed up. I'm gonna have a conversation with him my fucking self because if I get bad kids, no shade to the kids on the planet, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah,
but I think
I can't with brats. I can't. I was a brat, so I can't with brats.
Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna get really good kids. Like I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah. So so you got to think about your core values. That's an important conversation to have early on. Mm-hmm. Number 2, leave physical. Listen up, guys. According to bustle.com, leave physical qualities off the list.
Damn, so I gotta let go of my beard.
The beard. I used to have a thing with dating short guys, and then I dated a short guy.
YaYa, what's up with that?
Yeah, I had a thing about dating short guys, and I dated a short guy, and the problem wasn't his height. The problem was that he was a narcissist. So
all
it's
short
like
men have Napoleon complex.
I learned that after, you know, I also was going through some shit and he couldn't handle it. So that was another thing. But to be a narcissist and also add on to my shit it wasn't a good combination. But yeah. Wait, who's this? Johnny. My apartment only has street parking. Is that a deal breaker?
Absolutely. Because then you have to waste an hour looking for parking. Then we waste the whole day. It's a bad. I don't want men that don't have parking, unlimited parking.
Especially if you live in the Heights or somewhere in like on University in the Bronx. Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah, no.
That sounds real specific.
I dated 2
you
guys.
The whole curve. He's like, if you live in University, no.
If you live in University or Washington Heights, we can't.
It sounded like very triggering. I was kidding. No, I've been in situations where it's like the guy can't stay because he couldn't find parking, and I'm like, well, there goes our fucking night. You know.
And what was the other option? Just not seeing each other?
Yeah, it wasn't in my 20s. Like he ended up getting like a park. I remember one boyfriend I had. He was a fucking dick. Whenever he couldn't find parking, he would just be like, "I'm going home," and he would. He was so fucking rude. Yeah.
That's rude. That's rude. Number three. Know your deal breakers. What are your deal breakers?
My deal breakers are. Oh my God, this is putting me on the spot. Is it that right now I have a rule that an age is nothing but a number. Up to 35, I don't want to date men with kids. After 35, I'll consider it. Is that okay? Am I going to hell for that? Is that fucked up?
No, I feel like that's something that a lot of women have on their list. But like, yeah, the older you get, that's gonna have to be something that goes out the window. There are very few unicorns out there of men with no kids.
Right.
I don't have a problem with a guy with kids. I've never had a problem, but it wasn't until recently that I dated a guy that had a kid. I was actually excited about being a stepmom.
No, I don't want to be a stepmom. I'm gonna be the evil stepmom. I already see it. You ever seen Parent Trap? I'll be the fucking Meredith.
Glory, no. You're not even gonna like crack jokes and make them laugh?
No. Where's your mom? No, I'm kidding.
Go to her. Vete pa' allá.
I'm not your friend.
Oh, wow.
Yo, you imagine? I'm not here to play games or tell you jokes. I'm here to see your father.
I'm in a relationship with your father.
I don't know who these kids know. It's a thing that I think about, you know, and part of dating that makes it a little bit, I don't want to say hard, but it's something that's looming in our head is having kids. So I was like, when you find someone that you love, it's just like, I want to be with you because I want you to be the baby's father. But then when they don't feel the same way, it's like, okay, so you have to find another sperm donor? It took me a lot to find you, you know?
We gotta kiss a lot of frogs. We gotta kiss a lot of frogs. That's the thing. Not every frog is worthy of us, and that's the thing that I have to keep in my mind. Like that frog wasn't worthy. Can't be stressing over that frog. That frog will be free over
even
there.
If it was a good frog.
And by good frog, you mean good thing.
Like he never hurt you or anything. Like it just wasn't the right time.
No, they all hurt me.
No, I feel that. I feel the same thing.
They all hurt my feelings. But a lot of times it's just me hurting my own feelings. So and that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, I have to ask myself that same question too. Sometimes we make our own suffering.
Absolutely. Number 4 on checklist. Stay open-minded about the things that aren't on your deal breaker list.
Like what? What does that mean?
Well, it's not on your deal breaker list, so there might be things that come up that you don't even realize that you're like, wait a minute, I didn't
Look,
even
let me tell
consider.
you one thing about dating. Like when I'm actively dating, every time I go on a date, I'm like, let me just make sure I add this shit to my deal breaker. I don't want whatever, because it's things you don't think about. I'm just like, I don't like men that get overly like. I love supportive men, but when they're overly like fanatic about what you do, I'm like, I don't want to talk about comedy at dinner. I literally do it 24/7. Can we please talk about something else? Like
But
I don't
do
like
that? But do they do that in the beginning, or they do that the whole time that you guys are
girl,
dating?
the whole every day, every first date that I go on, I'm being interviewed about my comedy career,
Yeah.
which is like amazing, and I'm grateful for it. But it's also
But
like,
it's weird.
yeah, like I want to get to like I would like to talk about not comedy today, but I'll tell you, I don't know. But I'm trying to think of like a random deal breaker that came up one time.
What?
I just feel like I've had so many. Oh, this is a really weird deal breaker, but it wasn't even a date. It was just a conversation. So I was out the other night, and I was talking to this guy because I was at a club, at like a lounge. I was at the lounge, and this guy's like, I was asking him about his life, and he's like, yeah, like my baby mom's like, I can't really get along with her. We're just too different. She likes Taylor Swift, and I don't. I'm like, okay, you are making decisions about the person that you could potentially be by based on your music selection, which I get is an important like touch point, but just because she likes Taylor Swift, like I was like, this is a really weird deal breaker I have to add on my list because I love Taylor Swift.
We can't be together then.
Right, I love that. I be loving her on the low.
You don't deserve
nobody.
me
like,
or your baby mama. How about that?
Right, that's a fucking fact. I love me some Taylor Swift. I don't tell nobody though. But she has this new 10-minute song. That's just a vibe. It's a 10-minute.
What's the
It's
name of
called.
the song?
I had to find it. I don't know the name, but it's like a 10-minute song, and it's about like love or shit.
One is not about love and shit.
Right. So.
Like go fuck yourself, love, or I'm so in love. I found him. I'm in love.
Right.
Oh, that's Taylor Swift. Oh, that's Taylor Swift. And number 5, allow yourself to stray from the checklist.
That's a problem, YaYa.
So like, if someone needs somebody that's 6 feet, allow yourself to be okay with somebody that's 5'10".
Yeah, I can do it. I'm okay with height. Like, I don't feel like I've ever been like, oh, you're a midget, I can't date you. Is midget politically incorrect? I don't know. But like,
you're a comedian, you can say whatever you want.
Okay,
you're not being mean or malicious.
Yeah,
it's for the sake of the joke.
Yeah, I've never like been like, oh, this person is a certain height, so I don't want to date them. Like, I'm pretty open to it. In my 20s, I was a lot more open to it, but in my 30s, I would like to at least 5'10". Can I ask for that, God? Like, that's a 5'10" and a beard. Like, I'm not even asking for 6 feet. But if he's 6 foot, please come.
Glory, leave physical qualities off that list.
I'm gonna think about it.
Okay, look, Maremi said, if you date a guy who has kids, you are not priority. Not necessarily. I dated a guy. Well, I did it too. My first boyfriend, he was a drug dealer from when I was like 20, 21. He had kids, but they were all in DR at the time. So that didn't bother me. That, it was okay until I was like, you're going to be a drug dealer forever? I can't do this. Okay, deal breaker, gotta go. And then I dated a guy who had a daughter. By the time we started dating, she was 18. So she was like almost a grown woman, and they had a great relationship. So in that sense, it was okay. But if you got a guy who has like a toddler, yeah, it makes sense that you're not going to really be, if he's a good dad,
this is my
sense that he's not going to have you be a priority.
For me, everybody comes with, I don't want to use the word baggage as in kids are baggage, but it's a responsibility, right? And I guess it's the same thing as like priority. Like, I want to be able to move freely in the world right now, wherever I can. I travel a lot. I want to be able to like, hey babe, you want to go on this trip, whatever. And so that's where my lifestyle is right now. So I guess like a lifestyle thing. But as I get older, I'm like, okay, well, if it's an older kid, fine, whatever. Like, send that thing to school or whatever it's supposed to do.
Did you say send that thing?
It was for the joke. It was for the comedy.
Glory.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's a deal breaker for me right now. But it won't be in a few years. So I'm like, the way that I'm going.
That's the thing. We could reconstruct our checklist. Like, the checklist doesn't have to be the same to the day we die. Like our checklist in high school is different from our checklist in our 20s or 30s and whatever age we
Right.
are.
When I was in my 20s, I was like, oh, you just have to have a job. And I'm like, whoa, let's unpack that. Do you like your job? Do you feel like you're doing your purpose? Like, are you economically happy? Like, it just becomes this whole, because I just can't be, and I was talking to my therapist, I cannot be another rehabilitation center. I need you to come as ready as you're gonna be, because I just can't. I'm like figuring things out for myself. Like, I cannot be the person that figures it out too. Like, that's a lot of homework.
Yeah.
So, but like Rachel said, I can get a. I would, if the, like you said, you could stray from the list. I'll stray from the list for the right father, like for the right dad.
For the right
You
zaddy.
can make some concessions for the right father with the little salt and pepper beard. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I love your kid. Watch me take somebody with a kid like, I love kids. I want to babysit, all that shit.
And that'll be okay. If and when that day comes, I'm gonna be here for it, Glory.
Just
Like,
give me an idea for a TV
okay.
show. I'm gonna write it.
Write it, please. Write it.
Yeah.
Write it. Perform it. I want to see it, and we need to see it. The world needs to see it, and this is why we're still single, because there's just too much more material to write before we fall in love.
Yeah, I have a rule. I was like, I don't want to have kids before my first special. So I think that's why God is withholding, because maybe I'm just saying, I think he's withholding my lover, because I know the moment I find the person I love, there might not be a special.
You know, are you okay with doing a special having a belly? Because there's comedians that have done.
I don't want to. I just would like this moment to be by myself. I'm no shade to my kids, but I like to be me by myself. I just earned that alone moment. So that I always say, like, I don't want to have a kid before my first comedy special, just because, like, I want to be able to tour after. I want to be able to do all that. I want to do what Kevin Hart did when he went all over the world. So maybe that's why God's withholding my person, because he's like, bitch, I know if I give you the right person, you're about to be Rihanna on your Rihanna shit.
Yeah, well, Rihanna wasn't on her Rihanna shit right away. They've been dating for a while.
Yeah,
she was conquering the world,
on and off.
It's a matter of finding the person that isn't. Here's what I think. Again, I'm not an expert. We are in a transition from this last relationship situation.
Mm-hmm.
We're on our journey, we're on our path to just be ourselves, our 100% selves. The checklist is for us to just be on, have that outline, so that when that person finds us, like Jeremy said, just let them find you. Jeremy, he says, I got to split. Love you, YaYa. I know this is a serious conversation, but you ladies are hysterical.
Oh, no, this was fun. It was.
He says you ladies are hysterical. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you. We might, no, YaYa, this might be the podcast. Wait, this is your show?
This is my show, but we got to wrap it up because Instagram is cutting me off in like
a
minute and a half. We just gotta focus on ourselves, and that's the thing. I had a friend ask me the other day, are you afraid of being alone? And I thought about it. I was taken aback. I was like, excuse me? And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Being in a monogamous relationship since I was 14, I could see how I might seem like or felt like I was afraid to be alone. But now after this last breakup, I'm like, I'm enjoying not having to answer to nobody, not having to deal with anybody's shit, not having anybody deal with my shit, because I'm in a process of figuring my shit out. And yeah, and that's just what we got to focus on. And that's it.
I know we're about to get your thought. I will say I do thoroughly enjoy my alone time.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this first episode of Wrd Perspective. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to Glorelys Mora for chatting with me for over an hour, and everybody who tuned in. Rachel La Loca for commenting. Frank Nibs. Francis also was on here. Soraya was on here. And we had a great time. So if you guys could please just follow Wrd Perspective on Instagram and on YouTube. This is officially now a podcast. If you know anyone who could benefit from the perspective of the word checklist, especially young kids, especially teenagers and people in their early 20s, I think it's important that we start getting them to think about their checklist for their potential partner, for their potential mate. And so if you know any youngins or anyone going through a tough time dating, share the checklist episode with them. Maybe they might get inspired to write a checklist or readjust their checklist. So feel free to share today's content. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm gonna leave you with this, because I did mention earlier that wanting to start the show and reevaluating my checklist, it started with a recent breakup, but then it evolved into just wanting to get to know myself in this stage of life. So I'll leave you with this. Miguel Angel Ruiz says, "The word is the magic that humans possess." Not animals, humans. We get to use the word. So go be impeccable with your word.